Hi everyone, how's it going? I hope you all are good, and in this video we will be talking about multi-select dropdown in ReactJS, or how to create a multi-select dropdown in ReactJS. And for that we will be using the React Select library. React Select is a free JavaScript library or React library that provides you a lot of different functionalities to create different kind of dropdowns. And one of them is multi-select dropdown. One of the video I have created using React Select, where I have shown you how to create a searchable dropdown. And this video will going to be pretty similar, but in this video we will be creating multi-select dropdown. So let me show you how multi-select dropdown looks like on a first place. So if I scroll down, you can see there is a working example. And when I click on this dropdown, I have different options of colors. For example, I'll choose yellow. So you can see I have purple, red and yellow. If I want to remove, I can remove red, I can remove purple, and let me choose green. These two options are getting selected within a single dropdown, and that's exactly what we call as a multi-select dropdown. So we will see how to create this in the easiest way possible. So let me copy this npm script or npm installation script, and I have already created a React project. So this is a simple React project I have created using npx create react app command, and I have removed all the boilerplate that create react app gives us. Instead, I have just a simple app that is displaying to the user. First, let me go to the terminal and create a new terminal and install the React Select library. And in the second terminal, I'll click on add to add a new terminal. I'll quickly start this project using npm start command. So React Select dependency is now installed in our project, and our npm script is also running. So wait for a minute and let the project start. Meanwhile, we can do or start our coding. And our application is also started on localhost 3000. So let me run this application, and in the new tab I'll type localhost :3000. Our application is up and running. Now let's create our dropdown. Let me close this, and inside I'll give a heading, maybe in h6 or maybe in h5, so it will look a little decent. So in the h5 I'll say multi-select dropdown, and then we will be creating our dropdown here. Before creating the dropdown, we need to create an array of object that will be our options. So it's like an options object. I already have an options created. It's nothing, just a simple array of objects that will be our options to show to the user in the dropdown. So I have array, and inside of that I have objects. In objects I have the value. So when user selects from the list of dropdown, this value will going to be served to the server, and label is something which user will going to see. So I have a few countries name, and I'll be showing user this country dropdown. Let's create our dropdown now. So to create a dropdown, we need to use the select component that we receive from React Select library. So we can make it self-close, and I have to import it. So write import select from React-select. Then here we need to pass few props. In the select, first thing which we need to pass is the options itself. So the options over which the dropdown will be created. We already have the options, so I'm going to copy this and paste it inside my options. So these will be our options. Second is the value. When user clicks or select any particular list of dropdown, we need to set the value, right? So the value will be our selected option. This will be a variable, so let me create this variable first. Inside our app component we'll create a variable selected options, because these are multiple options. User can select more than one. That's why I have named it like this, selected options. And a setter function, set selected options equals a use state. And initial value of this variable selected option will be an array, because whenever we have a multiple or multi-select drop down, that drop down returns us an array with all the values user have selected. For that reason, I have made this selected option as an array and not a common string. So now we have our variable setup. Whatever user will select will be inserted in this selected option, and this will be the value of our dropdown. Then the third parameter or the third prop that which we have to pass here is of course the on change. When user clicks or when user selects the option, will have to run a function. So to make it simple, I'll use handle change. I'll create a new function, handle change, instead of using an arrow function. Let me create a new function here, and we will make this function handle change assign an arrow function. And in this arrow function we receive a parameter, that is the selected option which user have selected. So user selected this option and I have to save it inside our selected options array. So simply use the set selected options, and inside of this I will be writing selected option which user have selected. So that's simple. We can write a semicolon, it's up to you, and after that we are pretty much done. But there is one more prop which we need to pass in order to make it a selectable component or multi-select component or a multi-select dropdown. Let me show you how it is looking right now. So currently we have an error that is saying selected options is not defined. Let me find this, and we have selected option. Okay, so we have made a mistake. In the value we are typing selected option, but our variable name is not selected option, it's selected options. So I'll be passing selected options as the value, and in the handle change it will be the selected option. That's perfectly fine. So let's go to the application again, and we have a very long full width of options or a drop down. When I click Sri Lanka and Indonesia, you can see it is not multiple, it is not selecting multiple items in a one go. Either it is selecting India or either it is selecting Sri Lanka. It's not selecting both of these in a one go. But if you notice, this is not a simple drop down. This drop down is basically a searchable drop down. So if I want to type Indonesia, you can see this functionality is called searchable drop down functionality, and we have created a searchable drop down using React Select. So creating a searchable drop down and a multi-select drop down is pretty much same. It's 99.9% same. Just the only difference is a single prop which we will going to pass here, and that prop is multi. We can assign it to true, and then when I see, look, my input is looking very different. Now if I click on the drop down and select Pakistan, India, you can see multiple values are getting selected. So that's the beauty of React Select library. With just a single prop I can change the entire functionality. How easy that is. So let us create a submit function and see what values we are submitting. So I'm not submitting it to any of the API, just depicting by consoling log the value. So I'll create a button and name it submit, and on click I'll simply give a submit function. We don't have this function, so I'm going to create this function over the top, const submit assign an arrow function, and will not receive any prop or anything because we just have to simply console log. So console.log, and what we need to log this selected options. So how many options user have selected, we just want to see that or see those options in the console. So if I open the developer tools inside the console, I can remove everything else, or let me refresh this page once. Now let me clear it up, and when I select India, then Sri Lanka and Indonesia, and when I click on submit, you can see we have array of 3 items within it. We have value and label. So we have all the options which we have selected. If your backend accepts only the values, you can of course do the modification in the code and submit just the values by iterating over this array. That's up to you how you deal with this object or array of object, but we are pretty much done with our creation of multi-select dropdown. I hope you have understood how to create or how easy it is to create a multi-select dropdown. Thank you so much for watching, and see you guys in the next video.